This is video number 84 for cello students, and in this video we're going to learn to play number 139 in your book. So be open to page number 34. And again, please practice your C major scale before trying to do this video, okay? So 139 doesn't look all that tricky, but because how the notes jump around a lot, it is a little bit tricky. It's in C major, it's in 4/4 times, so that'd be doing F naturals, second finger on the D, second finger on the A, okay? And you're going to notice a part in here that sounds very familiar. We're going to shadow bow, and then we'll talk about that part that sounds really familiar. 139, shadow bow, and 1, 2, shadow bow, go. F natural. Now that second half of the song, we're really starting to measure 5. You're going, I heard that before. I've heard that. Where have I heard that? I played that. Yes, you did. Look at number 125 in your book. Now, starting in measure 9, it's basically the same song. Now, the notes are not the same, are they? Why is that? That's because you're in a different key. You're in a different key signature. What you're hearing is the intervals. The distance between the notes is the same. It's just in a different place on the instrument. In this song, it's higher up. So it's like someone that sings the same song, but someone sings it higher, or someone sings a song and sings it lower. That's what we got going on here. Now, how is it that the songs are basically the same thing? The end of the song is the same. Well, I want you to look at the composer title of 125, and it says Far Eastern Folk Song. Well, that means they don't really know who wrote it. It probably was either some little kid that made it up in the playground or in their backyard or whatever, or some mama that was singing to their baby, trying to get them to be quiet or trying to entertain them or whatever. And no one really knows who wrote it. It's just something that just kind of got spread around, okay? Now, maybe someone did sit down and write it out and then taught it to a bunch of people, but we lost track of who wrote it. When it says folk song, that's what's going on. But it was still something that people sing a lot. Now, look at 139. Russian folk song. So again, we don't know who wrote it. But think about this. The other one said Far Eastern folk song, and this one says Russian folk song. Well, when you think of the Far East, what do you think of? You typically think of like Asia, like China, Mongolia, Japan, maybe even Indonesia or something like that. Now, think about what is right above that geographically. And I have pulled up a little map on my phone so I could show you here. You can see that right there. We've got China, Mongolia, and right above that is Russia, right? Okay, so if you've ever played that game Telephone, where there's a whole group of people, something you might have done in elementary, and one person says a saying, like a sentence to the person next to him, and it goes around the circle. And then when it gets back to the first person, it maybe has some of the same words, but not all of them. This is kind of the musical version of that. Okay, so where did it start in China or Mongolia or Russia? Nobody knows. Nobody has any clue where it came from. But it traveled somewhere, okay? So as it traveled, it changed. So it could have been either place. They could have both been in Russia. I don't really know. It could whatever. But it traveled, and as it traveled, just like the telephone game, it maintained some of the original content, but not all of it. And what people couldn't remember, they filled in and made it up. So again, we don't know who wrote it originally. We don't know which one was correct. We don't know if 125 was the original one and 139 was the morphed one, or 139 was the original. Nobody knows. This is why we have music notations. We can write stuff down so we can remember it. And also, we can give people credit that way too, to whoever actually wrote the song. All right, now, before we try to play it, we're going to do just like 2 measures at a time, okay? Look at measure 1 and 2. Starts off like the C major scale, but it ends up like the C major arpeggio, because it ends up with G to C. This is why I want you to practice the scales and arpeggios. This right here will show you. Play measure 1 and 2, echo me. And go. C, D, E, F natural, G, C. Try that again. And let's go. C, D, E, F, G, C. Now do the next two measures. Echo me. Measure 3 and 4. Go. A, B, C, A, G, E. That part should be easy. If you're struggling with those two, I would suggest you pause the video and get those first 4 measures right, okay, before you try to go on. Do the next 2 measures, echo me. So last 2 measures, the first line, notice you're making a tunnel here. Ready, go. F, F, A, F, E, E, G, E. Now do the beginning of the second line. This part's again a little bit different than 125. Go. D, D, F, D, C, G. Now if you can, roll your finger, because if you pick it up, you're going to get extra sound. Okay, if you've got to pick it up, you got to pick it up. But I'd like for you just to do this. Roll. Okay, play that again. Measure 1 to the second line. Go. D, D, F, D, fourth finger, and then roll it over. All right? The rest of it's pretty easy. If you think you're ready, play it with me from the beginning. And 1, 2, beginning, go. Make a tunnel. Try to roll at 4. Off. Okay? Alright, so if you, whatever part you messed up on, if you played it through without any pauses, wonderful, great for you. Watch your tuner and try to get better in tune and continue to try to improve your tone. Try to get rid of extra sounds. That's the tricky thing on this. There's so many string crossings. Get rid of extra sounds. Every day improve your tone, your tuning, and your clarity in your music. Okay, because there's so much beyond just playing the right notes. There's so much beyond just, oh, I got the right notes and I got the right rhythms. There's a lot more to do than that. So don't just play it till you get it right. Okay, not just till you don't have any pauses. Play it first of all till you can't get it wrong, and also till you get it in tune with an increasingly better tone and clarity.